Welcome to Tekedia Capital. I'm DBC. Okay. I get this question a lot. What is the mission of Tekedia Capital? Why do we have to invest and take risk in some of these startups? And to answer you, I take you back to your secondary school in economics. Your secondary school in economics, you must have learned something that is extremely very critical. That in a perfect market system, demand and supply can come into an equilibrium point efficiently. But unfortunately, no market by its own is perfect. So generally, market systems are inherently imperfect in nature. And if you go around the world, that imperfection comes because of information asymmetry. And that information asymmetry is basically saying that demand knows something that supply does not know, and supply knows something that demand does not know. Let me explain with this analogy. Ndubisi has just landed in the city of Lagos from the United States of America, and I'm hungry. Let's assume that there is no restaurant in the city of Lagos. Let's also assume that I don't have a family member in Lagos that can actually help me with food. My only option would be to begin to knock at every door in Lagos looking for somebody who has food to sell. You agree with me that that process is inherently imperfect because I have the propensity of knocking at the first 100 doors without somebody who has food to sell. But at the same time I'm knocking, there is a family that has food to sell, but I cannot knock at their own door, and they can also not be very lucky that they can also discover me. What is happening is information asymmetry problem. They know they have food. I know that I'm hungry, but we cannot come together for transaction to take place. So how do you solve that problem? One way of solving that problem is to create a business, is to start a company, is to build a startup. And when you do that, you fix that market friction. Mama Kemi decides, next day, instead of waiting for this hungry man to come to knock at my door for that food, I am going to open up a business, and that business, Mama Kemi Restaurant, will serve the market. So she opens up a company that is a restaurant startup. And when Ndubisi is hungry, Ndubisi goes to that Mama Kemi's restaurant. And she is going to serve me food, oriko, nkwobi, all the good stuff. At the end of the day, I'll pay her money. That money is revenue to her, is a compensation for the friction of hunger she has faced for me. That is a fundamental construct of our market system. That is the bedrock upon which all markets, all economic systems, on everything that we know in the world of trade and commerce. That is how it's built. And look at banking. You have got 1 million naira with you in Bauchi. You don't have any need for that 1 million naira. And you are open to lend it to someone for a 10% interest rate. But at the same time, you also want to make sure that that person you are lending this money will return the principal and pay that interest, no story. Look around. You can't just find somebody you could trust. But there is somebody somewhere in Umuahia who can absolutely borrow that 1 million naira from you and return that 10%. But because the market systems are inherently imperfect in nature, without a company, what happens here, you can't discover the Umuahia man, and the Umuahia man cannot discover you. And because of that, transactions cannot take place. And when transactions cannot take place, the equilibrium point, unfortunately, cannot come. What happens? Somebody starts a bank, and that bank is a company, it's a business. So you now take that 1 million to that bank. You know what happens? The bank pays you that 10% interest rate. The then bank will now, hey, give that 1 million to that Umuahia man. Possibly it will charge 27%, 17%, whatever. that difference between that 10% is paying you and whatever he's charging is a compensation for the friction that the market it has solved for the market. That's a revenue for the bank. So companies are agents which are necessary in market system to help us overcome the frictions that we face every day. Tekedia Capital, our mission is to support those companies because for Mama Kemi to make very good food, she needs to have capabilities. The young lady that started the bank, she needs to have capabilities. And building those capabilities and accumulating them, she will require to organize and deploy factors of production to now create that banking product or service, just like Mama Kemi has to create that food. And creating that food and making that banking service will require factors of production. Hey, factors of production, she has to have staff. She has to have tools. She has to have resources which have to be organized so that those solutions will be available for the customer. You have the opportunities to fix those frictions. You need capabilities. And one of those is capital. Capital helps you to acquire the factors of production you do not have because Mama Kemi does not have to have everything to cook that food. She may need to buy pepper. She may need to buy salt. She may even need to rent that place for that restaurant business. She needs capital to make that possible. And that is where Tekedia Capital comes into play. We give her some money so that she can serve the hungry people that need food. And when she does that, she earns revenue and we partake in the share of that revenue through profit or other means. Just like the young lady that owns the bank, she needs capital to hire the right staff for lending, for credit, to treasury services, and all the elemental constructs which are necessary to build a modern banking institution. Factors of production requires sometimes capital to get them right. Because at the end of all things, three things are necessary: the people, the processes, and tools. Capital makes them happen. Tekedia Capital is at that mission of helping innovators and builders, change agents, them to have those resources they need. Go into the markets, fix the friction of hunger, fix the friction of lack of banking services, fix the friction of logistics, fix those frictions, you know them. That's what we do. And of course, we ask you to join us as the now Tekedia Capital Syndicate because agents of change for good require friends. Check out our website. I'm DBC, and I'm honored to be part of this. Thank you.